Episode 41, The Concrete Ghost of Seacliff. The night started like any other. Just me, a cold cup of coffee, and a microwave that had just gotten back from the tire shop. Don't ask, long story. It involves a lug wrench, 2 spark plugs, and something a mechanic called a temporal alignment issue. Ever since then, the thing hasn't been right. I hit reheat, and instead of buzzing like a kitchen appliance, it started to purr like a jazz bass warming up for a funeral. The lights flickered, the air thinned, and I could swear I smelled sea salt and cigarette smoke. Then it happened. The room tipped sideways, the walls melted into fog, and the floor under me started to sway. When it all stopped spinning, I wasn't at KSCO anymore. I was standing on a ballroom floor that creaked beneath my feet. Polished wood slick with seawater and spilled gin. The sign above the bandstand said it plain. The ship. The SS Palo Alto. A concrete ship turned into a floating casino, back when Santa Cruz thought it could outshine Las Vegas before Las Vegas even knew what sin was. The Rainbow Ballroom was alive that night. Men in tuxedos, women in sequins, and a band trying to keep up with the sound of money changing hands. Out on the deck, the fog wrapped the world like a curtain, and somewhere in the dark, history was rehearsing one of its worst jokes. That's when I saw him. Harry Swanton. Big name, bigger ego. He was the kind of man who could sell sand to the beach and make the beach say thank you. The Swanton family ran half the coast, lights, power, streetcars, and the boardwalk itself. But tonight, Harry was working the tables. He wasn't selling dreams, he was gambling them away. I spotted him at the blackjack table, leaning close to a man in a gray suit. Their conversation looked friendly, until it didn't. Voices rose, hands slammed, cards flew. Moments later, Harry went quiet. Too quiet. He slumped forward, face first, into a pile of poker chips. The dealer froze, the band kept playing. And the house, as always, kept winning. I checked for a pulse. Nothing but a faint smell of gin and bad decisions. The guests started whispering, the kind of whispers that feed on fear and champagne. Someone said Harry was in debt to the Cal Nevada Stock Company. Someone else said he'd been skimming from the investors who built the pier. Everyone had an answer. None of them made sense. It was Santa Cruz, after all. Then I saw him, the man in the gray suit, moving through the crowd like guilt with a pocket square. I followed. Through the ballroom, past the roulette wheel, up the slick iron stairs. Every few steps I heard the ocean beneath us, reminding me how thin the line is between floating and sinking. We burst through the doors at the bow, for everywhere, fog thick enough everywhere, thick even enough to hide regret. The moon hung low, silver and crooked, like it knew something I didn't. "Stop!" I shouted. The man turned, his grin pale and tired. "Sorry, detective," he said. "The house doesn't take returns." Then he dove. A splash, and he was gone, swallowed by the black water. I ran to the edge, looked down, and saw nothing but ripples. I thought about diving after him, but then reality checked in like an unwelcome guest. 1, I don't swim. 2, my coffee cup's permanently attached to my hand. And 3, this trench coat's dry clean only. So I did the only thing that made sense. I took a long sip and watched the fog close over the past. Then it came, the sound. Soft, familiar, a ding. Not a buoy, not the band. A microwave ding. The fog flashed white, brighter than a photographer's bulb. The deck dissolved under my feet. The jazz faded into static, and I was back in my office, chair spinning, microwave door wide open, smelling faintly of salt water and burnt circuitry. The phone rang. It was a receptionist. "Detective Armi, you've got that disability appointment in 10 minutes. I looked at my hand, coffee cup still glued there like a bad memory. Steam curled up from it, ghostly and calm. I stared out the window toward Seacliff, where the wreck of the Palo Alto still clawed at the surf. No ballroom now, no neon. Just shattered concrete ribs jutting through the tide. Storms took her apart piece by piece, the last big one in 2023 breaking her spine for good. What's left sits in the waves like the bones of a bad idea that refused to sink quietly. I poured what was left of my coffee into the cup that's welded to my hand and took a slow sip. "Yeah," I muttered. "They don't build ships or suspects like they used to." The waves outside hit the shore like the ticking of a clock, and for a moment I could almost hear the band again, somewhere out in the fog. That's when I realized time doesn't always move forward. Sometimes it just circles down the drain. Some nights you chase ghosts. Other nights they just let you catch your breath. And when the music fades and all that's left is the sound of the surf and a detective with too much caffeine and not enough sense. I set down my coffee, leaned into the mic, and let the night take the words out of my mouth. He chased a man through salt and mist, a gambler, liar, optimist, a splash, a scream. He don't exist. And the night grew still and quiet. The ship still moans beneath the pier. The ghosts still dance, their laughter near, and justice ain't been seen round here. And that's why I don't trust microwaves that travel through time. Until next time, this has been your detective, Billy Armi.